If you are not connecting with the piece of content, guess what, baby? You don't have to be here. Let me remind you again, you don't live here. I do, though. I do, okay? This account is connected to my phone. I exist here. I get notifications for what happens on this account. This is mine. And you walked into my house and you were like, what the hell? You're not talking about me in here? No, I don't know who you are. Like, what? What is happening?
Dude, where are you? Pick up your phone. I'm going to summer party tonight, and you're obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the weekly summer party for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drosbeck, who cannot believe that we are almost at the end of the year. How are we one episode out from being done with season 4 of the show? Oh my goodness gracious, I can't believe we've been going for this long. Kind of crazy, kind of cuckoo bonks. Today, as you're listening to this episode is the second to last episode of the year. Next week will be my last episode of 2025, and then I'm going to take 2 weeks off, I believe. I'll be back on January 8th, and I've got so many surprises in store for you guys next year. So listen, lock in, because Lover Girls HQ, the Emotionally Online Cinematic Universe, is expanding. We're expanding, we're growing, things are happening, and I just can't wait for all of that. So if you're going to miss me, if you're going to miss me too much when I'm gone, feel free to join us over on the Patreon, because we've got hours of post-show content from this year over there. I think adding the Patreon this year and doing post-shows for every episode has been so fun to be able to talk to you guys even more, connect with you guys even more. We have a Discord server where everyone chats. You guys started a book club, which I think is so sweet. It just warms my heart, and there's so much goodness happening over on the Patreon. So if you're missing me, if you're missing the show, we've got lots of content over there to keep you satiated over my 2-week break. But listen, for here and now, we've still got each other, baby. How is it going? How are we doing? How are we feeling? I've been living in this sweatset. For my audio listeners, it is one of the fashion brand company sweatsets that has a bikini top and bikini bottom on the sweatset. They're so silly. They're so silly and fun. The fashion brand company designs are everything to me. But this sweatset I've been living in since I got it, because it fits so nicely. So often, plus size sweatsets, specifically plus size sweatpants, are basically more like sweat leggings. Like they're tight. They are tight. They're not baggy. They're not loose. If a sweatpant touches my like low hip stomach tightly, I'm going to lose my mind. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable at all. I want my sweatpants as a big girl to fit the same way, the same illusion that you would see on a smaller body. There's no reason why the small sizes should fit loose and baggy and oversized, and then you look at the plus size versions and it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? These are like, they fit like yoga pants. This is not what I want to be wearing. I want something loose and baggy and gorgeous. So I've been obsessed with this sweatset because it does none of the sort. It is perfectly oversized. I sized up one with the pants, so it's even baggier on me, and I am having the coziest December ever. I've been slamming Breaking Bad, which somebody submitted a question about Breaking Bad that I'm going to have to get into because I've had so many reflections on this show. I've slammed it, you guys. I have 2 episodes left to watch. I had to hold myself back from just finishing it this morning. I watched 2 episodes this morning right when I woke up, and I was like, I really just want to finish the show, but I do have things to do today. I do have things on my to-do list, so I have to stop. But for those of you that have watched the show, you understand the amount of self-control that I just exhibited by doing that. So we're going to get into that because I need to talk about it. But I've been having a tired winter, a tired, cozy, meth cooking infused winter. Not me. I've witnessed meth cooking on my television. Yes. Additionally, I've been basking in the brilliance of my friends quite often, always, and quite often recently. One of my besties, Mika, posted a TikTok recently that resonated with me deeply, and I needed to bring it to you guys, to the Lover Girls, because I think this is kind of it's a good Lover Girls HQ rule reminder. And I think Mika nailed it, so I'm just gonna let her speak because I think that she speaks for me right now.
Hey, not to sound crazy, but I feel like if you're gonna be a man sympathizer in my comments, I don't think you should comment. I don't think you should be in my comment section. Cause like, this
that's
just
my
isn't
sister.
the place. I feel like
No, that's literally my sister.
There's a whole world out there that garners just real, true sympathy for men. I don't think my page is going to be one of those places. This is a safe space for silly, goofy, delusional women who just want to talk a little trash. Please do not bring me back into reality. Do not try to ground me. I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Okay? I'm not going to explain nuance. I'm not going to explain societal norms. I'm expecting you to just use your critical thinking skills and like decipher for yourself whether or not it's okay to comment these things. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I feel like no man apologists in my comment sections, please.
Mika, I love you so much. Mika posted that, and then she also posted this, and I also saw this and was like, no, period.
One of my favorite things to say is a woman should never apologize. And I mean that. I mean that in my heart and my soul.
And it's true.
But I also mean that in like the right context. You know what I mean? Like,
totally, sister.
I'm being hyperbolic.
I was born to
bit
understand your
facetious.
visions.
Like when I say, oh, a woman should never apologize, I don't mean like quite literally like you should never, ever, never, ever apologize if you're a woman. Like, sometimes I say that to people and they're like, yeah, well, and I'm like, stop. Like,
nuance is dead. Like, people don't appreciate hyperbole enough. I think that we're entering this era on the internet where people are just fucking allergic to having a little fun and being a little silly. And like, things can be half true and half a joke. I do this all the time. I say something that I believe. They're like, the core of it is something I believe, but I'm saying it in a very exaggerated, hyperbolic way for entertainment. And somebody in the comments gets mad at me for it because they think that I'm being dead serious when it's like, I'm like 70% serious. The heart of what I'm saying is still what I believe. I'm just doing it in an excessive way because ultimately this is a show for entertainment. I don't know if you forgot that. Ultimately, I'm here to entertain you. I'm here for your entertainment. Oh, yeah. This is not the first time I've done that in the last 60 calendar days. I am 100% certain that I have done that exact thing on the post show relatively recently. Holy shit. I mean, it's true, though. Adam Lambert was locked in for that song, for your entertainment. That's how I feel. I'm here for your entertainment, and some people on the internet, some people with internet access need to chill the fuck out. And it's, you know, we talk about this all the time. It's just getting worse. The what about me-ism, the bean soupification of the internet. It is a sight to behold. And I think it's always a good reminder that this corner of the internet doesn't tolerate that. Okay? You get with the shit or you get out. Number one, I think many of you would enjoy being more hyperbolic. I think it could really loosen you up a little bit. Sometimes you got to do the wiggles, you know? Sometimes I just feel like I need to get the people of the internet in an improv 101 class. I need to do acting warm-ups with people online. You see the way people behave in comment sections, and it's like, hold on. Let's just wait a second. I think we can zip zap zop this behavior out of you. I think maybe we just need a little bit of, you know, wiggle time action going on, and we could reset your brain. Hard factory reset it. Okay? Because the bean soupification of existing on the internet in this present day and age is getting exhausting. Bring back no boys allowed signs. How about that? Bring back no boys allowed signs, and also bring back doorbells to your bedroom. Do you remember those? Early 2000s, these like, you could buy them at like Toys R Us. And you just put the doorbell on the outside of your bedroom, and there was a wire that went inside to the speaker, and somebody had to ring your doorbell. And it was like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Bring those back. Bring back room doorbells and no boys allowed signs. Can we not be silly? Can we not have a little giggle? Similarly, connected to this, I also saw a video of someone talking about what the average Twitter discourse looks like. Now, I'm not on Twitter, but fortunately, every social media app is just morphed into each other these days. So this is really what happens on every social media app now.
Hi, my name is Emma. This is my impression of the average Twitter discourse nowadays. Such a fun day with my friends. We went to a restaurant that I have been dying to try and then ended the night with a movie night and some cocktails back at our apartment. I'm too physically exhausted to do anything after work on a Wednesday, so you're either unemployed or you're living off of daddy's money. Most people don't get to go out to dinner on a weekday, and this is really rude of you to show. Cocktails in the middle of the week? What a bunch of fucking drunks.
Okay, you get the point. Video goes on like that. I've honestly thought about this stuff a lot recently, just in observation to how a very small handful of people reacted to me sharing my grief online. But it is fascinating to me that there are people out there that when they see someone talking about their own life on their own page, whether it is, you know, me talking about my grief or something much less intense than that, someone talking about a recipe that they love. Let's go to the bean soupification on one end. We got bean soup on one end. We got me talking about grief on the other. You stumble across a piece of internet content, somebody talking about their own life, their own experience, their own whatever on their own page, which is a completely appropriate place to talk about your own life on your own page, on your own platform, on your own account, on your own home base. This is my home turf, okay? I'm talking about me inside my house. That's a totally appropriate place for me to do that. And you have people in the comments like, and how dare you not talk about my experience? And actually, how dare you not acknowledge that I actually went through something different than you? And I'm like, I don't know you. Hey, quick thing. What? What is happening? I just think it's actually crazy to go on someone's page. Someone's talking about their own grief on their own page, and you come in the comments and you're like, actually, if you're going to talk about this here, if you're going to talk about your own grief on your own page, you actually have to start this by adding in a little caveat and a little qualifier that other people are struggling too, and that other people have it way worse than you. And I actually should start every single one of my videos and every single one of my podcast episodes. Before I get into talking about anything personal, I have to start the conversation by giving a list of acknowledgements to all the various other experiences that can happen. And we'll be here for hours because that list is infinite. But, you know, it's important for me to acknowledge all of the other experiences that could potentially be in the room with us before I talk about my own, so that this random person on the internet doesn't think that I, for some odd fucking reason, am sitting here saying that I have it worse than everyone else, even though that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm simply talking about my life and sharing my experience on my own page in my own home. God fucking forbid. Sorry, you are in my comments. Why are you coming to my house to tell me how to act? This is my house. You're in the comments. I live here. What the hell? I was the one who posted. It's my account. Can you imagine? Like, where do you think you are? You're on my page. It's actually totally normal for me to talk about myself here. Holy shit. If you are not connecting with the piece of content, guess what, baby? You don't have to be here. Let me remind you again, you don't live here. I do, though. I do, okay? This account is connected to my phone. I exist here. I get notifications for what happens on this account. This is mine. And you walked into my house and you were like, what the hell? You're not talking about me in here? No, I don't know who you are. Like, what? What is happening? No one is requiring you to be in a space that's not clicking for you. If you go and you find the bean soup video and you're like, oh, I hate beans, you don't have to go in the comments and be like, and why wouldn't you give an alternative for me? Why isn't my thing in here? And it's like, you don't live here. This isn't your thing. You go find where you're supposed to be. You are in the wrong classroom. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You didn't read the paperwork that they sent home, okay? You got on the wrong bus to go to school. You've ended up somewhere totally different. You're not where you're supposed to be. Why are you mad at everyone else for that? You are the one that's in the wrong place. Oh my God. It is totally normal for not every piece of content on the internet to resonate with you, for you to not fuck with everything, for you to be in a place in your life where you can't hear what this person has to say or what this person has to say. But it is not the fault of those people to censor themselves and give all these caveats and cushions and qualifiers for what they're about to say so that you can feel more comfortable. Oh my God, you need to get out of that comment section. You need to just go find something else. It's fine. What are we doing? It honestly blows my mind. I think the annoying part to me is that it's not the feeling that's the problem. It's the reaction that is. Do you know how many pieces of content I stumble across a day that are not for me? I famously recently talked about on my YouTube channel about how right now, it makes me really angry to see people complain about their pets at all. I can't do it. It makes me mad. I don't want to see it. And I have a very complicated reaction to that because I'm grieving the loss of my pet. Obviously, people are allowed to complain about their life or complain about their pet ruining the carpet or whatever, so long as they're not abusing their pet or screaming at the pet. They're allowed to, look at their phone and be like, oh, I've had an exhausting day. My cat ruined the carpet and I'm just upset about it, whatever. People are allowed to do that. That's not the issue. That content's not hitting for me right now in the specific era of my life. What I did in response to learning this was to sit home and talk to myself in my own house about how I'm struggling with anger right now. And this is the stage of grief that I'm in. And I film it and I put it on my own page. And I never once got in the comment sections of those people and told them, hey, stop being angry that your pet tore up the carpet because my cat died. And so you should never be upset about that. And fuck you for doing that. No, I didn't do that because I understand that that is the crazy part. The feeling is not the crazy part. The reaction would be. Some of you are not understanding that your reaction is the crazy part. Holy fuck. I'm on one this week. I'm sorry. I actually, no, I'm not sorry. Because I'm so over this era of the internet where you have to cushion everything that you're saying because people are dead set on misunderstanding you and interpreting what you're saying into something totally different and more sinister just because they are having a bad day. Like, I am sorry that you are having a bad day. Me too. Me too. Having lots of bad days over here. But what I do when I have a bad day is I talk to myself. I talk to my therapist. I do my little creative stuff. And I do share a lot of what I feel on the internet because this is what I do. And I like doing it. What I don't do is yell in other people's comment sections when their shit and what they're bringing to the table isn't hitting for me right now. Okay? You don't have to fuck with me. That's totally fine. You don't have to be here. The weird part is not fucking with me, continuing to stay here inside my house and then being mad that I'm here in my own house. You're like, why is she still here? And if she's gonna still be here, can she talk about me instead? Like, no, we're not talking about you. We are not talking about you. Okay? I don't know you. I do not know you. The Venn diagram of bean soupification, what about me-ism, and parasocialism is a circle. It is a round circle. We're playing ring around the rosy. You don't see me in your comment section telling you what you should or shouldn't be upset about, telling you what you should or shouldn't grieve about. So I don't know why the hell I see you in mine doing that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I started dishing it back to these people? They come in my comment section and start telling me all these things. I find their Instagrams and I start commenting on their posts. Really weird that you didn't give a caveat before posting this, beautiful picture of the dinner you just had. Because I'm really hungry And it's weird that you didn't acknowledge that Maddie would be on her phone hungry while she's scrolling. And now I have to look at a picture of your dinner. What the hell? And this connects to the conversation that we were having about, I don't remember if this was on the post show or the main pod, but I was talking about how it's interesting to me to notice the ways in which some people view the comment section differently, where some people view the comment section as a direct path of communication to the creator, and other people view the comment section like a public forum to discuss with other people without the creator being present. And you can tell usually by the way that people comment or the tone with which they comment, which group they're a part of. If they believe they're talking directly to the person who made the content, or if they're talking to other people in the comment section. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. I think it's more just interesting to observe how the two groups of people exist. And for me, as a creator, obviously I view my own comment sections as being a direct response to the things that I'm creating. But sometimes I'll notice that comment sections will evolve more towards people engaging with each other instead of the content itself or with what I'm saying or me directly. And that's when I back off and I'm like, okay, you know what? This is something beautiful is happening here. I just don't think that I need to be a part of it. I'm not supposed to be a part of it. But I feel like it connects here as well because this is a similar but different kind of comment section etiquette that's happening with parasocial elements absolutely at play. Because I think that sometimes when people have a parasocial relationship with you and they really feel like they know you, they can start feeling like they are entitled to your direct understanding and acknowledgement of their circumstances and the life that they live. They feel entitled to relating to you or feeling comforted by you. Your content, who you are as a person, means something to them. And the second you step out of that or are something that is not helpful to them, then it's like, well, how could my friend do this to me? How could my friend not acknowledge or talk about stuff that pertains to me? Stuff that connects to my life. It's like they want you to acknowledge their struggles as if you were two friends having a conversation. And then they talk to me like I'm a bad friend who hasn't checked in on them. And I'm like, I don't know you. I literally don't know you. Some people are just fundamentally viewing the content experience differently. And it is majorly contributing to the bean soupification of internet comment sections right now. It was fascinating to me, though, to observe the ways in which this has popped out as I've spoken about my grief online and people wanting to nitpick that or tell me that I'm not entitled to it, that I'm taking up too much space, that I'm talking about it too much, or that my grief offends them in some way, which is fine. But you don't get to tell me how to feel or how to act or tell me that I have to be different. And you don't have to announce your departure if who I am and what I'm talking about is no longer relevant to you. We're allowed to be different. I'm allowed to be different. And it's not fair or nice to come into someone else's home and talk to them like that. You're in my space. You're in my comment section. Like, it's not the reversal. If I was in your house, I would defer to your rules. Fortunately, we're in my house. So, or fortunately for me, unfortunately for you, you're going to have to defer to my rules when you're here. I can't. I literally cannot. But anyways, that was kind of beautiful because that was something I was thinking about this week. And then I go on TikTok and I see Mika talking about this same thing in a different context. And I'm just like, there she is. There's my sister. Totally fucking aligned with me as expected, as usual. Love that fucking girl. All right, let's get into these audience submissions, of which there are a lot right now because I feel like it's been a minute since I've gone through the box. So I'm going to do as many as I can through the remainder of this episode. First up, let's get into this Breaking Bad submission because I'm dying to talk about it. This person writes, so excited you're watching Breaking Bad, but can we please talk about the lack of media literacy around the show? I watched Breaking Bad for the first time this year, and I went into the show thinking that this was a story about a generally good person being pushed past the brink due to bad circumstances, based on what I've heard over the years. Boy, was I fucking wrong. I have never, ever seen a man who has shot himself in the foot more. Over and over, we see Walter throwing away opportunities that are basically handed to him on a platter because of his own ego. You go in thinking maybe there's more to this bad situation that he was in. Nope, it's just a man with a debilitating inferiority complex for no reason. Can I also just quickly mention the Yoko Ono level of hate for Skylar? I know there's usually misogyny involved when people overwhelmingly hate a female character, but I was expecting her to at least be mildly annoying. Again, nope. Super reasonable the entire time to a fault. What's wrong with people? Okay, this is fascinating to me because I have managed to avoid most of the Breaking Bad discourse over the years, mostly because my brain, and I'm not saying this is the best reaction, but my brain shut a lot of it off as just like, boy stuff, I'm over it. And I was convinced that it wasn't going to be a show that I liked. My parents watched it back when I was in high school, I want to say. They got super into it. And I remember them raving and being like, you have to watch this. And I was like, I just don't think so. But my knowledge of Breaking Bad previously was that it was a show about this chemistry teacher who just starts cooking meth and things get crazy and so in my head it was just another one of those boys shows where men are cooking drugs, selling drugs, and killing each other unnecessarily. Not always my favorite kind of show. I'm not always the most compelled by that plot line. Now, if you had came to me and sold Breaking Bad as a show about a family man, high school chemistry teacher who gets a terminal cancer diagnosis and is on the brink of financial ruin when he decides to go into cooking and selling meth to try to leave his family behind something now that he knows he's going to die. If you told me that that was what was happening in Breaking Bad, you could have got me to watch this show so much quicker. You needed to lead with the cancer. You needed to lead the charge by telling me what the stakes were and being like, oh, it's not just like this chemistry guy who gets super into chemistry and starts cooking meth. He's dying. He has a terminal cancer diagnosis and he has no money to leave his family. So he gets into cooking meth. That's way better. Why did nobody tell me that? I had no idea, you guys. No idea. Didn't know the cancer stuff until I started watching it. What? That's the main seller. I just think that sometimes the marketing of these boy shows, and maybe I just missed all of it. Maybe it's a me problem. Maybe it wasn't a marketing problem. Maybe it was a me problem. I'll take ownership for that. But to be honest with you, I feel like the marketing for Breaking Bad was always like, I don't know, drugs and guns and the cartel and, you know, mafia ties. Like it is marketed as such like a boy show versus like a drama that involves drugs and crime. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the promo of the show to me seemed a lot less interesting. Then I watched it and I'm like, you guys didn't tell me the most interesting parts. You guys left out the parts that were going to sell this to me. What the hell? So, as you can probably gather, I don't know a lot of what the audience or public discourse was about Breaking Bad. I'm 2 episodes away from finishing right now, so I've basically seen the whole show. Past this point, I will probably spoil some things. So if you don't want to hear spoilers about Breaking Bad, a show that aired years ago at this point, that finished airing years ago, then skip this section. But to hear that people don't like Skylar is actually kind of crazy to me. The only like piece of feedback that I heard from someone else was my dad really didn't like Jesse. And my mom really did like Jesse. And my mom was like, yeah, dad hated him because he felt like he was just like a bad, evil person. And I was like, Jesse? Like, I really don't see Jesse that way at all. I feel like I spend most of the series feeling sad for Jesse because I feel like he has a good heart, but he got roped in to the wrong crowd when he was younger and he's never really been able to bust out of it. Obviously, Jesse makes a lot of mistakes. He's not like the golden child by any means, but I do believe that Jesse is a good person who has made a lot of bad choices, but mostly due to the circumstances he was in. He was an addict. So I have never hated Jesse. Walt, I think there's a really good argument to dislike him. It is baffling to me to learn that people would hate Skylar, who I really believe has been probably, she has like the most sound moral compass of anybody on the show. But I've thought about this a lot as I'm reaching the end of the show and I'm seeing how things are wrapping up. I've had moments where I've been like, how would I react if like my dad or my brother or someone close to me was cooking meth and I found out? Like, what would my reaction be? And I genuinely feel like my reaction would probably be similar to Skylar's, because she had the immediate reaction to her learning is she was like so angry and distraught because she's like, how could you do this? How could you put our family at risk? He basically roped her into it. Like, she had no say in this. He was keeping secrets from her. He basically just uprooted her entire life. He destroyed her life by proxy when he decided to get into all this stuff. And again, like you said, there were multiple outs for Walter. If it was just about like making the amount of money he originally set out to make, which was under $1 million, if it was just to make that amount of money so that his family had enough and then get out, he could have done that by the end of like season 1. Like, he kept going and kept upping the ante and like chasing power and money and ways to fuel his ego to the point where it's now triggering his demise, at least where I am at in the show right now. I really don't know how it ends. Oh my God, it's crazy. I have 2 episodes left. I'm probably going to finish it tonight. So by the time you're listening to this, I probably will have finished Breaking Bad. But you're right. He has literally multiple opportunities to get out, to move differently, to like, you know, if it was just about giving his family money, making sure they're set when he dies, he could have done that long ago. We achieved that long ago. He kept going because he is a deeply ego-driven man. And he's a broken person, and he feels so inferior because of how his life played out with that, him being bought out of that company that ended up being a major success. And he's just like a high school chemistry teacher. And now he's a terminal cancer diagnosis. He has an infant daughter and a son in high school. He thinks he's a fucking loser. So he keeps doing this shit because it's like the only thing that has ever made him feel like he is significant or successful or important in some way. To be like the kingpin is giving him a rush that he's never felt. You're dead on that. It's like it reaches a point where it's hard to feel bad for Walt because he is the one that keeps making his own situation worse. Skylar, she has the immediate reaction of being angry at him because he's, you know, wrapped her and their family into this whole mess. And then she ends up ultimately finding a way to support him, and she's helping him launder the money, and he's still leaving her out of a lot of it. But she's like fighting to try to keep their family afloat and like remain loyal to some degree to her husband, the person who she has kids with, who she's built a life with. And who she's like trying to stick beside, even though he has continued at every turn to show that he is not able to acknowledge the ways in which he has ruined her life, to no fault of her own. And I just watched the episode where Hank dies and Walt gets home, and Marie and Skylar just told Junior that Walt is in with all the drugs. This is so funny to be talking about Breaking Bad like this in the year 2025. Like this show was a topic of conversation so long ago, but I just watched the episode. They told Junior they are under the impression that Walt is in custody with Hank, but obviously that's not true. And Walt is not in custody and Hank is dead. And so Skylar and Junior pull up to the house and Walt is there packing shit up, and he's like, get your stuff and get in the car, we have to go. And Skylar's like, Walt, where is Hank? What happened to Hank? I thought you were in custody. What happened? And Walt is like, everything's fine, everything's gonna be okay, don't worry about it, I negotiated something. And Skylar is like, there's no way. What did you do? Where is Hank? And she clocks immediately that like Hank is dead. No, obviously Walt isn't the one that killed Hank, but Walt knows that Hank is dead because he watched him get shot. So they're standing there in the living room while Walt's yelling at Junior and Skylar to get their stuff and get in the car. And Skylar's like yelling back at Walt, and she goes and she grabs a knife from the kitchen block and she like stands in front of Junior to shield him and is threatening Walt and is like, you have to get out and leave us alone. And she finally, like, she's had multiple moments where she's gone toe to toe with Walt and she's pushed back against him. She's never been a pushover by any means. She has gone back at Walt many times, but this is the first time that she drew like a hard line in the sand like that. I feel like a lot of the conflict that Walt and Skylar has had, it's been like they are fighting with each other. It's like we as a married couple are fighting for what is best for this family. And that was the first time that Skylar literally is like putting her hand on her child, shielding him from Walt, and her being like, it's not me versus you anymore. It's me and our life and this family versus you. You're out. Like, I'm done trying to protect you and pretend this is like a joint thing that's happening where we're protecting the family together. Clearly that's not what's happening. You've made so many choices that have put this family at risk. You have taken this entirely too far, and now like here I am wielding a knife, holding my son with one arm and threatening you because I'm fucking done with it. And I was like, good for you. And then she slashes him, his hand. He's fine. But I was like, she is, I mean, I feel like she's had the most reasonable reaction of everybody. The like anger, the sadness, but like still struggling with wanting to remain loyal and like have some semblance of family that still exists. You can't accept that your life has been torpedoed by your fucking husband who is dying of cancer while you have an infant. Like, it actually is confusing to me that people dislike Skylar, because if it was you, would you behave any different? Like, I just think that she's had the truly of all the characters the most normal reaction. Despite all of this, I'm still not rooting on the demise of Walt, but that's mostly because I don't like cops. So I'm still at the end of the day rooting for Walt to find a way out of this. But I am not rooting for everyone around. I'm not rooting for like the happy ending. The whole family escapes and they're all together forever somewhere else. Like, that is not the ending I'm hoping for, because I don't think that's the ending he deserves. But I'm not necessarily hoping for Walt to like end up in jail. I'm assuming he ends dead. Like, that just seems to make the most sense, that he just dies. So it's like, I'm not rooting for Walt, but I'm not rooting against Walt. But I will say that the part of the show that made me start questioning, like, what's happening here, was like when Hank and Marie found out about what Walt was doing. They were so quick and ruthless with like their rejection of him and being like, he is like an evil man, fuck him. And it was such a sharp turn because obviously that is Skylar's sister and their brother-in-law, and they were at the house all the time. They were close with them. This is like a close familial relationship. Upon learning that Walt was Heisenberg, suddenly it's like not even one conversation was had. It was like, you fucking evil person, I'm gonna fucking take you down and make sure your whole life is ruined, as though it's not connected to family. Like Hank was so blood hungry for Walt, and I don't know that I understood that. I was like, don't you think that you would have at least a little bit more of a complicated reaction to knowing that this is your brother-in-law? No, but they went straight to like anger. I want the worst for him. I want him dead and gone. And I'm like, is that you just like have that cop energy, huh? Like, I don't know that I love that. Despite it's like, okay, it's true that like Walt has done a lot of bad things. Okay. He's killed people. We're not defending Walt. But don't you think you'd have a more complicated reaction? Like, I love Skylar because I think that she has had a complicated reaction. And she was firm and angry and upset, and she's experienced the full range of emotions. And she's ultimately, I just think she has like kind of like one of the best characters in the show. Maybe she's my favorite character in the show. Her story is kind of awesome so far. I don't know what the last 2 episodes are going to be. But like Hank and Marie, I'm like, you're not even going to hear him out. Like if I heard that my brother-in-law, my sibling, my dad, whoever, was cooking and dealing meth and they were like the guy, assuming that I'm a DEA agent for some reason. If I heard they were the guy that I was after, like I do feel that I'd want to have a couple more conversations before jumping to like, I'm going to spend the next section of my life making sure that this motherfucker goes to prison. I don't know that is the first place I'd go to. Because maybe I just want to know what the fuck is happening. Assuming that you're really close with this person and they're your family member. No. But that's why I liked Skylar's reaction. Because I'm like, that feels reasonable to me. It's complicated. It's more nuanced than just like, oh, I'm a DEA agent and this guy's a bad guy. So I don't care that he's my brother-in-law and that we've actually been really close. I'm just going to put him in jail. But like, I guess that's just how cops be. I don't know. But I have been thinking about that a lot. I'm like, what would you do? Like low key, WWYD if your dad was cooking and selling meth and your uncle was a DEA agent who had spent the better part of the last year and a half trying to track him down. Good question. Great question. But now, once I'm done with the show, I'm definitely going to deep dive into some fan stuff and see what people were saying at the time and what the general consensus is now. And again, by the time this episode is airing, I've probably finished the show. So if you have takes, if you have information to give to me about what the vibes are in the Breaking Bad fandom, let me know, because I'm curious now. I'm shocked to hear that people dislike Skylar. Okay. All right. You learn something new every day. Hello, Maddie. Hope you're doing well. This particular submission is honestly more of a crash out, but I felt like if there was a relevant place to let this off my chest, it would be here, since this is a community of movie lovers and enthusiasts. If you haven't heard, Netflix just won the bidding war to purchase Warner Brothers Studios. And if you're anywhere on film social media, you'll see everyone rightfully freaking out about this. In an era where we already have to worry about dogshit AI writing screenplays and just streaming in general feeling like cable 2.0, this is extremely worrying for the future of movies. I'm aware of how dramatic this sounds, but I'm fearful in how this will impact the film industry as a whole. If Netflix, who is already the largest streaming platform by far, ends up acquiring Warner Brothers, who's to say that they won't stop there? It feels like the artful, creative, expressive side of filmmaking is being plagued and poisoned by executives that value profit over over passion. People so out of touch of reality that they believe the movie theater experience is an outdated concept. The only silver lining I can find in all of this is knowing that there are many people, filmmaker and consumer alike, that will push back against this monopolization of the movie market. But right now, things are looking extremely bleak. As a movie collector and enthusiast, I hope that I'm not alone in this feeling and that we can find a way to fight back. You're not alone in this feeling at all. Oh my God. Honestly, I've been so busy this week that I haven't even had time to bug out about this yet, but I intend to. This is on my list of things to bug out about. Because what the hell? Really, let this be a PSA to everyone listening to this. Get your ass to the movie theaters. What the hell is happening? If I hear one more person be like, oh, I'm just going to wait for it to go to streaming, I'm going to punch you in the face. Okay? I'm going to buy a brass knuckle and punch you in the face. What the hell are we talking? I need you to go to your local cinema, get yourself a big, juicy, crispy DC. Okay. And a big bucket of Diet Coke that you're going to load up with popcorn, and you're going to eat all of it, and you are going to have the best experience of your life. You're going to experience euphoria. I actually can't fathom why people would prefer to watch movies at home versus in a theater. It is such a better experience to go to the movie theater, not only for like the social experience of getting to watch a movie for the first time with a group of people also watching it for the first time and like engage in the audience response in that way. That and also just getting to see a movie in that aspect ratio with that sound system, the whole experience is better than seeing it in your own home. There's no distractions in the movie theater. Hopefully everyone is quiet and minding their own business. Beautiful things happen at the movie theaters. I can't tell you how many times I've watched a movie at home and then gone and watched the same movie in the movie theater and been like, oh my God, I'm going to raise my score for this movie because the movie actually seems better. I'm able to experience it fully in the way the director intended in the theater that you're just not able to at home. Also, the colors, like your TV just fucks with shit. It doesn't look as good as it does in the theater. It never does. It doesn't look as good. It doesn't sound as good. Nothing is as good. It is better in the movie theater. On top of it just being a good experience, the actual film quality itself and what you're watching and consuming is just, I don't understand how people could not care about that, because Netflix is all about making the time between release and when it's available on streaming shorter. They're big on limited releases, showing movies in LA and New York for 2 weeks and then putting it on streaming services and having that be that. It's so lame. It's actually like, it is not fun, and it really impacts the theater viewing experience for me. Like Jay Kelly and Train Dreams are both Netflix releases that are big contenders, really being talked about in this current awards season that we're getting into, and they were in theaters for such a short amount of time that I didn't get around to watching them. So now I have to watch them in my fucking living room, and that pisses me off. Okay, it pisses me off. I don't want to do that. Particularly Train Dreams. Jay Kelly is like, whatever. I'll watch Jay Kelly in my living room, but Train Dreams, I've heard such fantastic things about. I really would have loved to see that movie on the big screen, but it was literally out in theaters for like a week and a half before it got pulled. Limited releases in like 2 cities is just not gonna fucking cut it. It's just not gonna fucking cut it. It's so much bigger than that. Also, like, I really just need to go back to the social experience of going to the movie theaters. It is so good. Bringing people together, being in a room full of like 200 people watching a movie together for the first time, the gasps, the giggles, the sniffles, crying, screaming. There is such joy and camaraderie in getting to experience that with other people. Like seeing The Substance opening weekend in a packed theater, that was like truly one of the most fun movie theater experiences that I've had over the last couple of years. It's such an evocative movie, and to see it opening weekend with a bunch of people that are also really anticipating this movie, they're excited about it, packed theater, everyone's just gooped and gagged and having a good time. I felt the same way about Love Lies Bleeding, actually. That was a fun audience to be a part of when I saw that movie too. It's part of the experience. It's part of makes it so fantastic. It's sharing in that with other people. I am not going to be pro anything that cuts out the community aspect of what makes something so fantastic. I spend a lot of time watching movies by myself. I love going to the movie theaters by myself. But to go to the movie theaters by myself is a much more fun and social experience because I'm alone with a lot of other people versus just sitting on my couch watching a movie. That's not romantic and fun and whimsical. Like, why are we removing the fun and joyful parts out of life? Direct to streaming? Who wants that? Literally, who wants that? The only people who want that are people that are just interested in sitting in front of a TV or their phone. It's like the people who love scrolling and are like, you know what? I've never felt any negative feelings about spending 6 hours on TikTok a day. Actually, I love that. And I think it's good for my brain health. The people who are just down with all of it, no critiques, no criticisms, no reflections. They're just like, give me a distraction. Let me watch and consume all of this media. Don't care how you get it to me. Just make sure it is here. I don't want to think about it. I just want it to be shoved on my home pages and in front of my face. Those people love direct streaming. But I really feel that anybody who really is a media lover wants to savor it, enjoy the social aspect of it, the experience of going to the cinema, whether it's, a larger chain cinema, which, listen, I'm a season pass holder at Alamo Drafthouse. No shame in that game. But to go to like a small cinema also, to travel and get to go to these small local movie theaters is also so special. What are we doing, you guys? Like, it's not the same. It's not the same to have it all go direct to streaming. You're cutting out the community part. And I don't like that. I don't like it. And yeah, this wasn't even my set aside bugging hour. I still have to really dig into this more and bug out about it further. I'm looking forward to really bugging out. The thing I'm looking forward to most about looking more into this Netflix Warner Brothers acquisition is that I'm gonna bug out a little bit. I keep seeing that cracking up video all over my fucking phone. I'm really looking forward to cracking up. Anyways, I'm going to throw us on over to the post show because I am actually going to a movie premiere tonight. I'm going to see Song Sung Blue. Can't say that the trailer for this one looks the most interesting to me, but Kate Hudson is nominated for a Golden Globe, so this movie is on my radar. I'm trying to watch everything that's got buzz in preparation for the Oscars, and I love going to these premieres and just getting to experience the cinema in a room full of people that are seeing it for the first time, and also the people who made the movie. It's very special. I love it a lot. So I'm going to go throw it on over to the post show, where I will be discussing the Slut Saturday that I did have myself this last weekend. Oh, we're going to save that for the post show. So if you want to hear more about it, come join us over on the Patreon. Additionally, we'll be doing the last live stream of the year on Patreon this Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Sensitive and Romantic Tears. So if you want to come hang out, do a little end of year celebration, then come join us over on the Patreon. I would love to have you over there. And if not, I will see you guys in next week's episode, the last episode of the year. Oh my God, the end of season 4 of Emotionally Online. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to make it to season 5. Ah! Love you guys so much. I'll see you next week. Bye.